asshole today.
Jesus. This is He Said, She Said. And Producer Jay is back. We weren't here last week because of
I was very not happy, but happy about that.
Right. You had almost put on your eyelashes.
Yes, I put the glue on eyelashes and was about to attach when I got the text saying, oh, I don't think there's going to be a show. And I'm like, oh, well then I'm not putting my eyelashes on.
Wash my face off.
I did wash my face.
Yes, you did. Got right in your Birkenstocks and your shorts.
Damn right.
And came and got me.
Well, not right away.
Well, no.
We had a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we went to do the 619 Bearcast finale show.
Yes, we did. The very final Bearcast ever.
Yes.
Well, we don't know ever. There might be a reunion.
Well, they said that they were not doing it anymore, and now they're calling it a hiatus.
A hiatus, right. Yes.
They need to make up their mind.
Well, hey.
They told all of us it was the last one.
Which is why we were there.
Yeah. I hope they don't turn out to be like the friggin' Cher tour.
Seriously. You wouldn't have schlepped all the way to wherever it was we slept to.
No, I would have, because I do love being on that show.
Right.
But I wouldn't have been, in the back. Oh, look.
What a fabulous duo you guys are. Look at you.
Someone that I haven't missed in 3 weeks.
You've missed me.
Well,
you have.
I did miss you 2 weeks ago, and then somebody started talking about you, and then I didn't miss you anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, and they love talking about me because I'm popular.
Oh my God, so popular.
Yeah.
So
What's in the boxes? Are you moving?
No, not moving anywhere.
Did you get kicked out again? Do you really? That's an HD camera. Do you really want to be that close?
Well,
The camera loves me, and I'm wearing flash that's spinning.
No, but I'm talking about your face that it also up close.
it's going to be pores. We're going to see the nose.
Nobody wants to see that up close. That's why they put you on your hands and knees.
Well, he's named after cheese for a reason. Just saying. Anyway, we were talking about Thursday.
Yes.
The 619 Bearcast, which we have had every single one of those boys on this show.
Yes, we have.
And we kind of talked about that.
Yes, we
when
did.
we were there.
Yes, we did.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Laid out food. He knew you were coming. You had your pigs in a blanket.
I had pigs in a blanket, and I had those little cheese balls. And then I had chips and dip and cookies.
And Reese's Pieces.
I didn't have the Reese's Pieces.
That's the ones I like.
I'm not a Reese's Pieces kind of person.
You don't like peanut butter?
I'm not a fan of peanut butter. Occasionally, I like a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, yes.
Did you
like
know?
your little, what were those things that you used to get camping all the time? You put me onto?
Yeah, I take them.
Those are
Uncrustables.
Yeah, the Uncrustables.
Yeah.
Those are good.
I'm addicted to those.
Totally love it.
But did you know, this is true, that if you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a glass of milk before you go to bed, it will make you sweat all night.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's some sort of chemical reaction that you sweat when you have peanut butter and jelly and milk.
I was thinking, is it just from the peanut butter or just the...
I guess it's a combination of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a glass of milk.
Well, I usually sweat when I go to bed, but that's only because...
Are you a hot sleeper?
I am a hot sleeper, but that's because I drink before I go to bed. So that's my system trying to burn off the alcohol that I've just consumed.
I'm a hot sleeper too, and I don't, even when I don't drink. Well, I'm just a hot sleeper.
And we
talked about that at the 619 Bearcast.
Yes, we did. I don't like it. We've talked about cuddling too before. And like, I'll cuddle you for 10 minutes, but then you got to get off me.
Oh, 10 minutes is too long. Too long.
Too hot.
Yeah, I just burn up. I'm not a good, I burn up.
Do you sleep? Yeah,
all my life.
You sleep with your AC on, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I do sleep with the little window cracked, and I have a fan. I usually sleep with the fan on. My ceiling fan.
Oh God, I can't do the window open, because then I hear everything.
Oh, I don't really...
And I'm not even facing the street, but I hear everything.
No, I don't really hear it much.
Okay. So you're lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe your fan kind of...
Once I go to sleep, I'm asleep.
You're like, whatever. So you're a...
Although, if there's an unusual sound, I will wake up. You know what I'm saying?
Like someone trying to burgle you.
Yes. Yes, that is true. Yeah, I've always been a hot sleeper.
So,
I even have that... Speaking of sleeping, hot sleeping, actually, it was kind of funny. I went to... God, where did I go? Where did we talk about this? Because my ex was there. and we were all talking about sleeping, and I was over at his house. They were having a dinner, a little family dinner, so I went over for the family dinner, and we were all sitting around watching TV, and they had that commercial for that gel pillow.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have that, but I have a gel pillow because it keeps your head cool when you're sleeping. Have you heard, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And they work. I'm a testimonial. They work.
I have one of those bean pillows.
Oh, no. I used to have one of those a long time ago. But now I have that. It's a cool gel. You know, it's a gel.
Right, like the gel that you can get for your soles and your shoes.
Yeah. And it works. It works.
I'm going to have to try that.
So then everyone was joking about, and then Robert was sitting there, he goes, you know, how hot I sleep, and I don't sleep with my feet under the sheets.
Oh, you have to have your feet out?
My feet have to be out.
Oh, to help you cool.
To help me cool down.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Not for me.
So I don't even use a top sheet anymore. I have
like a blanket and...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I have like a duvet cover, and there, I have a comforter and like a down comforter and the duvet cover, and I use that so that I can, I hike that up, and then that way my feet can hang out.
No, not me. There's no way. I'd be too afraid.
That was when we were talking. I'm afraid about what?
Heidi licking my feet while I'm asleep.
Oh, Lord, she's asleep too.
No, she's not. Heidi used to sleep in the bed, and then she got into this habit of getting up and getting down, getting up and getting down. And finally, I had to train her to not get on the bed at night because she wouldn't stop getting up and getting down. And now she doesn't. She's too old now, so she can't jump.
Well,
she can't jump.
Yeah. So we were talking about sleeping habits, and
do you sleep with a body pillow?
I do have a body pillow. I don't really sleep with it though because, again, I'm hot. And so that would make me hot.
Right.
But I have the body pillow like if I'm like taking a nap, like if I'm gonna just go in there and take a nap, I'd throw that and I'll use that as.
See, one thing I do have to have is something between my legs. I have to have my leg over something or a pillow between my legs. That's what my body pillow is for. I know, strange. But I also can't sleep on my back. I have to sleep on my side of my stomach. I'm not a back sleeper. I think we've talked about all of this before.
I don't recall any of it.
Are you a back sleeper?
Snorer?
No, I am not a snorer unless I've been really, really intoxicated. And then I snore.
No, I'm not back sleeping either. I can, but I don't generally.
It's comfortable.
It doesn't really bother me.
Well, somebody told me that it has to do with how your parents allowed you to sleep in the crib. If they put you down to sleep when you were a baby on your back and you fell asleep on your back, then you're a back sleeper.
Oh, really?
If they didn't, if they had you sleep on your front, then you're not a back sleeper.
I don't know. I don't move around a lot, though.
I don't either. You know who does?
Shay.
Shay Turner. My God, it's like he's fighting fucking ninjas in bed.
Really? I roll around a lot when I'm trying, when I'm first going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like to find my sweet spot. But then once I find it, I'm done. And then I'm out. Boom, gone.
I'm also one of those that as soon as I hit the pillow, 30, 45 seconds, gone.
See, I wish I could be like that. I'm not like that.
Oh, I am.
I'm a good 30 minutes. He's on the bell today. He rang it for me earlier today, too.
Word.
Yeah, it takes me about 30 minutes to go to sleep.
The sleeping patterns of he said, she
But
said.
what is so bizarre is if I lay down and take a nap, because I take a nap every day.
Oh, yeah, you're one of those. So is Donald.
Yeah, I take a nap every day. But if I lay down and take a nap, I can go to sleep like that. Like, fast.
I can't take naps because I don't sleep. I won't fall asleep.
Oh,
my eyes will get heavy. I'll close my eyes, but I won't ever fall asleep.
Oh, I do. I fall asleep instantly.
Donald is one of those. Donald is one of those that takes a nap every single day, and he's also one of those that can take like a 3-hour nap.
Oh, I cannot do that. That was what I was going to say. I sleep, the most I could nap is maybe 30 minutes. But if I lay down and take a nap, my eyes go, boom, I'm asleep. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've done it for so long, or you know what I'm saying? 20 minutes.
Wow.
I just wake up.
And so when you wake up from a nap, are you awake? Or
I'm awake.
And not groggy?
I'm not groggy. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on the world.
I'm just saying.
That's what I try to. I don't know how it works, but that's how it works.
That's how it works. Well, we were talking about the 619 Bear Pass. Let's talk about that for a minute.
All right, what else? Did we talk about them enough?
That's pretty much. They are done. You can go and download it and listen to everything she had to say because she was pretty much the show. Except for when they did their tugs at the end, which I thought was really very emotional and crying. Yes.
And I went to bat because remember when we were going there, I said, I bet Dave's going to cry first.
I thought Brian cried first.
No, Dave cried first.
Oh, yeah, because he was reading
the letters.
Yeah, he was reading the letters.
So I went to bat. Again.
You have to stop being right so much.
Oh, the curse that I have tried to work on over the years.
It is exhausting.
For me, too.
I'm just reminding everybody not to forget your birthday, which is coming up in May.
The pressure is coming. Yes, it is.
Which I will be calling you post-haste at 12:01 in the morning. I have my alarm set. Oh, Karen, you're asleep.
Shay still doesn't have it in his phone.
Oh, he's putting it in there right now. You notice he picked that shit up.
Did your mom tell you? She's so cute.
Producer Mom is totally going to make sure that you...
I know. I think I'm going to do something for my birthday this year. My birthday's on a Wednesday.
Oh, damn. Well, then we should do it we should have it for a Thursday. We'll just go out and celebrate after.
I know, but I'm thinking I want to do something.
Like a dinner or something?
I don't know if I want to do a dinner. I'm thinking what I might do is do a Friday night bonfire.
Oh, that could be cute. I wish it wasn't on a Friday, but that could be cute.
Why?
Because I can't go.
Well, you get off at 10, don't you?
Yeah.
You can come at 10.
Oh, I thought you had to be done with those by 11.
No. When we do bonfires, we're usually there until
8 in the morning.
About 1-ish.
Okay.
And we're between midnight, 1 o'clock, depending on...
Where do you go to the...
Over by the Bahia.
Oh, okay.
Either by the Bahia or that vacation village.
Okay, got it.
Either one of those.
So I can bring my purse that's actually a wine box?
Well, as long as the police don't drive up and you have alcohol, it is against the law to drink alcohol.
This is true.
So that's all on you.
For everybody that's coming to San Diego, note, you cannot drink on the beaches.
Right. You can smoke on the beaches, too.
Correct.
All right, so how much time do we have?
We have a little bit of time.
Let me tell you one of my dilemmas in life, which part of it, but let me tell you how.
Okay.
Because it's consuming me.
This is going to be a while then.
No. No.
Okay.
I'm consumed already, so I'm not talking my way through it. I'm just...
Well, your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you. Okay, so I broke my car radio.
Yes.
Which we have not talked about on here. But I hit it with my iPhone. And...
Now, we should explain you have one of them big, fancy, big screen...
Yes. It's
serious navigation, yada yada.
Yeah. It's a Pioneer AVIC-Z3. And it costs, when I put it in, $1,500 to get, everything hooked in. So when I broke it, I was not amused.
No.
I was not amused. But I also don't have $1,500 to buy a new one.
To replace it.
Which also has me not amused.
Correct.
So I was like, well, it's just a radio, as long as, I have my Sirius.
But remember, it's not just a radio, it's your backup camera viewer thing.
Well, that's, was part of the... Okay. Originally, when it first broke, I'm like, it's, I only need a Sirius. And then I was like, well, I need to make sure that it's Bluetooth too, because I, oddly enough, talk to people most people when I'm driving, because it's all Bluetooth. So, that's... And then I'm just sitting there, It's not like I'm concentrating on my driving.
Lovely.
Turn on my blinker, wait a few seconds, and I move over. If you're there, oops, you should have moved. I indicated I was coming over. So, then I'm like, well, I need to make sure I have Bluetooth. And then that was a little bit more money, but, not that much. And then everyone is like, oh, you still need to make sure that you have your backup camera, because, I drive an SUV. And I'm like, well, I don't really use my backup camera. And they're like, yes, you do.
You do. Yes, you
And then
do.
so I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, I really actually do use it all. So I'm like, all right, then I've got to have a backup camera. So now I'm like back up to, you know,
$1,500.
no. It was like about 200 and
Oh, okay.
200
Because you were looking on, you said eBay or something.
But I was just looking around.
Okay.
But if I got navigation, that was the huge thing if I wanted to get navigation on. Because
That's-
navigation jumps at
Right, a bunch of money.
like $200+. So if I was going to get navigation, then, you know, then I'm just looking at almost just replacing,
The
you know,
thing.
I'm like
Right.
easily at, you know, $500-600.
Right.
For, you know, an entry level. And that's not an entry level, what I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that, you know, there's my essentials. I just wanted a backup camera, I wanted Sirius, and I wanted my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this radio that I like because, you know, I do research. It's a Kenwood. I can't think of the model right now, but it's a Kenwood. It's cute. Find someplace that has it in town for a reasonable price. I go and get it installed. I have it so it can hook it up to my iPod, you know, to my
Your
iPhone.
phone,
But it's also Bluetooth, so my, you know, it goes through that as well. So that's,
Can you control your phone from the screen? I know you wanted that.
yeah, I could do all of that.
Okay.
You know, but it's not my Pioneer. It's just not. You know what I'm saying?
It's not what you're used to.
No. And I keep thinking I'm going to get used to it, but the more I get in my car and I'm like, you know, I'm like, I just
don't like it.
don't like this radio. So then I was talking to somebody else and they're like, well, why don't you just get the screen fixed on your Pioneer? I'm like, well, how do you do that? And they're like, there are companies that do that just like when you put a screen on your phone, you know? So I'm like, no, they don't. So for days, this was a moment that I was wrong. Jay would probably love this. So for days, all I could think about was, a refurbished radio. So I was Googling someone to refurbish a radio. And I couldn't find anyone. And I'm like, see, I was right. I can't get this fixed. No one knows what they're talking about. They're all ridiculous. There are no... see, Pioneer. It's a sign from God.
God, that you're supposed to have Pioneer.
I cannot, you know, like, find anything. So, I was talking to somebody else, and they're like, oh yeah, well, Google car stereo repair. And I'm like, repair? And they're like, yeah, that's, you want someone to repair, you know, to fix your radio. I'm like, well, I thought they would refurbish it. They're like, no, refurbish is what you buy.
Is
But
what
you
you
can
buy.
buy a refurbished stereo. But you need someone to repair it, which is what makes it refurbished.
Right.
I'm like, oh. So, now, I'm $400 into this new radio, which I don't like and I'm not happy with, right?
Should be selling that shit on Craigslist.
I get online, I could have gotten my Pioneer fixed and updated
For
$130. So, I'm sending my Pioneer off to get it fixed for $130 and update the navigation system and do all of that stuff. And then I'm going to have this radio taken out of my car.
and give it to producer Jay.
I'm going to sell it.
Oh,
You can buy it.
give it to producer Jay.
I'm
You can
going
buy
to see you
it
at a reduced price.
for $379.
Well, the radio itself was, what, $350?
Right.
But then I needed to get the new Sirius adapter, which I needed anyway.
Right.
And that kind of stuff. So I would be willing to sell the radio for like $250.
Okay. We're gonna put a tag at the bottom of this. When
Don't
you
put it
upload
like
it.
on my Pioneer thing.
If you want to buy a
Yeah. So then I'll just sell the radio for $250, which will basically pay to have my Pioneer fixed.
and put back in your car.
Yeah, and then I'll just hire
Easy.
someone to put it back in my car.
Love it. Easy breezy.
That has pissed me off. I was pissing me off even more, you know, when I figured out that I could have had it fixed, because I could have just had the freaking thing fixed.
Yes. Yes, you could have.
Well, when you were in my car, when I was taking you to the 619 Bearcast, and we were talking about my broken stereo, you didn't suggest you should have this fixed.
Because you were very adamant that you were going to get a new one.
But you
So
could have said,
who am I to stop you?
well, you could have been right for once.
I think I was right withholding my judgment, making you even more frustrated since you spent all that time looking at new radios.
I know, but if I would have known I could have just gotten it fixed, that would have saved me a lot of time and money.
And then you
And
could have
aggravation.
said, oh my God, Aaron saved my life, and you would have posted that on Facebook.
I would have.
Shit. Oh my
I would
God.
never do that about Jay, but I would have done it for you.
Speaking of posting on Facebook, I heard you got some nice comments for your time on the Bearcast.
I did. They were very sweet.
I posted a very nice comment to them too on their little community group.
Yes, I read that too. That was sweet.
See?
Yeah.
I signed it from both of us. No, I didn't.
I didn't say.
No, I didn't.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall either.
All right.
All right, so we're going to take a break. I think we're going to come back. We have some guests that we're going to be talking to today from
Yes.
UCSD.
Are we doing that?
Yeah, let's do it in a
They're coming?
second. We'll do it in the next segment, and then we'll finish ourselves out with some other things and
I know.
stuff.
I've got to go to Lakeside after this.
You have to go to El Cajon, I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going. He likes high school. I'm going to a lacrosse game.
Oh, it's lacrosse season. Love it. All right, we'll be right back. We're back. And the site has grown a little bit. The site
Well, I
has,
don't know if the set has grown, but we have grown.
we have grown. We've added two fabulous individuals to the table. Dr. Gabriel Wagner. Gabe. You go by Gabe, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. And the fabulous Elaine Grable, who is one of my favorite ladies in San Diego. Hands down favorite ladies in San Diego.
Thank you, Aaron.
Well, and we've already hit the breast conversation.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide who's our bigger today.
I've explained to her why mine are so much higher.
Perky.
Perky.
Extremely perky.
Because I have a belt that's holding them up.
Yeah, I'm going to get a
So-
belt
Yeah.
to hold mine in place.
Yeah.
next-
Just go over to
the
her
next
house.
time.
She's got a room that's a closet. She
I
can,
do.
And maybe I'll borrow your shoes too, because you know how I feel about shoes.
Okay, what size do you wear?
7.
Did you see these?
I
Oh,
did,
Lord.
Ophelia. I almost took them off your feet. Oh, they are fabulous. I
Those are
actually
so
have a pair
simple.
very similar to that.
those look very easy to walk in.
And they're, you know, they're Oprah size.
Open size, 10.
So, Aaron, if they're so easy to walk in, we'd like to see you in a pair.
Okay, you know.
It's you
Perhaps
know,
one day.
Perhaps one
Perhaps
day.
one day.
And
Yeah.
also a
No,
belt.
but not in mine. Because
No.
I
Feet
don't
issues.
want them all
You
stretched
got
out or
that.
anything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Would you let anyone borrow your shoes? Would you let anyone borrow your shoes?
Yeah, I think my brother at some point. Yeah.
So, Dr. Gabe, though, have you ever worn a pair of stilettos like that?
No.
You don't know what you're missing.
You've never had heels on?
So, the only thing I can say is that would probably enhance the AIDS research that's done. A bit UCSD and the AIDS Research Institute. A pair of high
A
heels.
fundraiser. Hey, get all the doctors to wear
Fundraiser.
one.
We'll get all of the emerging investigators to wear
I
high
would need a
heels.
lot of practice.
Yes.
Look at Elaine with that segue right into what she wanted to talk about.
AIDS
about it.
Research Institute at UCSD because I'm on an advisory board that they have assembled of community folks. And they usually end their segments of talking about the Institute with AIDS won't cure itself. But if we look back at the story of AIDS in America, we see that the story of AIDS in America is the story of activists getting together to make sure that there would be research for AIDS. And so those of us on the board are just continuing that coalition of us's who get together and say, we need to find a cure. So the AIDS research at UCSD has been in existence for 20 years.
20 years.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Because we were talking about this earlier on the 619 Bearcast.
Yes.
We were on there last week and we were talking about how things have evolved. And I was saying, excuse me, I did a shot during the break.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
And we
wow.
didn't get one.
That, you know, when AIDS first started, you know, we did a lot of fundraising when I was just like, you know, not even old enough to really,
17
you know, go out.
ish.
I don't know how I even got in clubs.
12.
Exactly. I was like, let's go. You know, when I first started raising money for AIDS, it was not for research, but it was for burials and it was for hospices.
Yes.
And then they asked a very good question, and I didn't really have an answer to it when they answered. But they were like, when was the transition from raising money to bury people and raising money for research? Because I don't think that a lot of people ever, I don't remember that transition happening.
Well, I'm going to say probably 20 years ago.
That's why, yeah.
And I'm going to say that the funding that you were having to do for burying changed to funding for research when activists formed coalitions and began not just to have personal coalitions, but public coalitions that came to the streets. And finally, we got political people informed, and that's when they began to do the NIH funding. And that's what you hear about all the time. But young, emerging investigators, young scientists like Dr. Gabe over here, they don't get their money from huge multi-grants.
Right.
They don't get their money from private commercial industry. They get their money from folks just like you and me.
Right.
And let's let Gabe talk about what he does, because really, I just know how to raise money, but he knows the hard science.
So what does our money go to?
I am an infectious disease specialist and HIV researcher.
Are you nervous?
No, well, maybe a little bit. There's a lot of light.
That's a lot of light.
I'm not accustomed to light.
You look amazing.
Ophelia, give him a kiss.
Just
Make him feel
relax.
Yes.
The only one that you really have to be worried about here is that one, because he's Republican.
Okay.
This
Lord.
can't be true.
We're good.
Okay.
So just
sounds good.
relax.
I am relaxed.
All right, talk to us like we're talking laying in your bed.
Sounds good. So,
See how my breath lifts off
But
now?
Ophelia, he has a very handsome partner.
He could lay in bed with us too.
Yes, he
Oh,
could.
see? And there's where the conversation.
I am not.
Relationships is the next segment.
Menage a trois, but back to the hard
We are just
science.
going to be laying in bed. There's nothing happening.
Back to the hard
I
science.
am a simple woman.
so
Are you relaxed now?
yes, I am
All right,
very
good.
relaxed. So basically, the bulk of the work that I do is with HIV dual infection. And HIV dual infection refers to infection of an individual that is reinfected by a second viral strain. And previously this was thought to be quite rare, but at the UCSD CFAR lab where I work, we have found that using highly sensitive next generation sequencing technology, we have found it to be quite prevalent, quite frequent among San Diego primary infection study participants here at UCSD. And that study is primarily composed of gay men. We have also found that HIV dual infection is associated with a more accelerated disease progression among people that are not on antiretroviral therapy. And just last month, I presented the study at the Retrovirus conference up in Boston that we completed, suggesting that HIV dual infection is associated with neurocognitive impairment.
What is neurocognitive impairment?
Neurocognitive impairment refers to
HIV effect on the brain.
yeah, essentially HIV effect on
That
the
was
brain.
good, Aaron. Very good.
Hey, I live with Donald. I live with Donald.
Because you've got the good stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really, that's really interesting to know though. I didn't know that. Dual infection.
Well, and then I have tons of questions now because you just got me thinking, and I hate thinking. So do you think that if I heard you right, you're thinking that the double infection is there's more of it now than there was?
I think it has always been present. It's just that the technology has only now caught up for us to be able to detect it more.
Do you think that it could also be because there's so many people that think that they're non-detectable, that aren't, because they're non-detectable, they're not having it, and then they're going out and
Yeah, so
participating and...
yeah, so it appears to be more prevalent in the first 1 to 2 years of infection, and certainly gay men tend to be in medical studies and in clinical research studies, gay men tend to be more of a high-risk population because of the number of partners. It has also been studied in certain groups and studies in Africa, and there the frequency is not as high. So it does vary among the groups that you're looking at, the level of frequency.
But AIDS in Africa is transmitted very differently from the way AIDS is often transmitted in this country. Is that right?
That's what I've heard.
Well,
Is that right, Dr. Gay?
it's actually, no, in terms of transmission, it's still predominantly sexual. It's still predominantly sexual, but the face of sub-Saharan Africa AIDS epidemic is mostly among heterosexual couples as opposed to
And mostly
in the
women?
States, which is gay men. I mean, women here in the States are affected also, but I guess not as much as in Africa.
So the funding for the AIDS Research Institute, like this program that you guys are doing, the 20 for 20 program,
Yeah.
this goes to help further develop that sort of technology for you all.
Right, and not to speak, not to boast myself, but it really
I
is.
Do it all the time.
Go ahead.
Not myself, but rather people at my stage of development. So what a lot of people do not realize is that
Slow
young
down.
investigators in HIV/AIDS, like myself, young physicians, are actually not paid. The bulk of their salary, actually my salary, comes from government grants. So I do not get paid directly from the university. My salary doesn't come directly, the bulk of it, from the university. Rather, it comes from government grants. And HIV scientists like myself, and we all work in this manner. But there has historically been a grant mechanism that allows young physicians to kind of kickstart their career. And these so-called training grants are now becoming more and more scarce because of the economic funding climate. There's less money, and there's less budget at the federal level, like Lenny was talking about, the National Institutes of Health. And so that means that it's becoming that people like myself that are have financial obligations would rather go into private practice or go into a more lucrative career as opposed to staying in HIV/AIDS research career.
But when you listen to Dr. Gabe talk about it, it's at this level with the emerging investigators that we see most of the creative, the exciting work in treatment, in care, in the future for a cure being done. And that's why this advisory board was formed to always activists are out there to raise money, but we're also out there to tell the story. We're out there to tell the story of what's happening in the AIDS population, which is, by the way, very interesting in this study. But we also want to tell the story of scientists like Gabe who will leave this field if there's not enough money for them to do their research and go into something so that they can actually get married, have a family. Gabe has a very handsome partner, by the way.
You said that 3 times.
She has a crush.
I'm really jealous.
You should be a little bit concerned.
I met Gabe first at Top of the Park, but what can I say? But the Research Institute at UCSD does a lot of this very new and creative, and they're very nimble and flexible in a way that a larger situation is not able to be. And that's why we need to be able to fund these kinds of programs.
Right.
And it's also why the funds are drying up, because if you can't produce a product that can be sold by Procter & Gamble, who sells AIDS research drugs, then there's no money in it. And yet, there needs to be a cure.
I agree.
Do you think that we'll find a cure?
No.
Ask Dr. Gabe. I'm a volunteer.
I'm a volunteer.
Although my specific research focus is not on eradication strategies at the UCSD Center for AIDS Research. Actually, there's a number of investigators, and some of them young investigators like myself, that are looking specifically at the question of cure. And now, I'm sure many people have heard of the Berlin patient, the first person to actually be cured of the virus. His situation was special, and it cannot really be replicated, but it has given us hope. And so actually a lot of us in the HIV/AIDS research field think that a cure is definitely attainable. It will still take a lot of work and a lot of time, but we are very optimistic in that it can happen.
So, Gabe, why don't you talk a little bit more about, in addition to the research, what else goes on through UCSD with the Owen Clinic, with the kinds of preventive discussions? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I
Sure.
know you're primarily a researcher.
Yes, I am primarily a researcher, although I also see HIV-infected patients at the Owen Clinic, which is the treatment arm of the HIV treatment arm of the University of California San Diego Medical Center. And the Owen Clinic has been a unique place for the community for a long time. It was started by Chris Thomas back in the 80s, and it's a comprehensive clinic that touches on multiple aspects of health for HIV-infected patients. So it's a really great, unique place. And in addition, there is the Antiviral Research Center, the AVRC at UCSD, which also performs clinical research studies. And the San Diego Primary Infection Study that I mentioned earlier is actually based out of the AVRC. Few studies in the country are actually studying primary HIV infection the way our UCSD AVRC does. And there's also folks like Ian Morton that lead things like HIV University and teaching and educating the community. So it's a very unique, multi-purpose kind of environment at UCSD for HIV education and research.
Do they all have to share the same grants, and are they all kind of separate, or?
They are a little bit separate. They all fall under the umbrella of HIV/AIDS research and education, but they are separate. The Owen Clinic, of course, being under the Department of Medicine in the medical center, and the AIDS research at the Center for AIDS Research, which is the actual laboratory where people are pipetting, like myself. That's where a lot of grants that maintain that. The AVRC, which is where participants with HIV come and get their blood drawn, and the AVRC, that also is funded by government grants. So it's a little bit of hodgepodge, a little bit of everything.
So, Dr. Gabe, what do you do in terms of women and children over at UCSD?
So there's also at the Owen Clinic providers that specialize in women and children care of HIV. There's an adolescents clinic that is at the 4th and Lewis, and a few providers that see patients there, that see predominantly adolescents there. And
When you say adolescents, you mean?
adolescents, they actually tend to be more young adults. Like I think mostly what they see is in the age of 16 to early 20s.
15 to early 20s.
And women, to tell you the truth, so I know that one of the providers at the Owen Clinic sees women, but then I think the OB/GYN department also has like a small program that also sees HIV infected women.
So all of these things need money, which is what you were leading into.
All of these things need money.
And
Nothing happens without money.
so
That is the truth.
what you guys are doing on the 20th anniversary is what?
So on the 20th anniversary, we have several fundraising initiatives. One is the 20 for 20, where people give $20 for the 20th year. And while we are celebrating the fact that we are still in existence after 20 years with all the funding cuts and with all the fabulous research that's going on, we have to say that it's also sad to know that we still have not found a total prevention and cure. But for as long as people contract AIDS, then there will be a need for this research. And there will be a need for people to be involved as activists to tell the story. And there'll be a need for us to raise money. There will be several other larger fundraising initiatives, but we hope that people will become involved through Facebook and the $20 for 20 years. $20. That's just a couple of cocktails.
Well, it's not even a couple, really.
It's not even
like,
a couple.
Right?
cocktail and a tip.
Right?
A cocktail and a tip.
At a lot of places.
And I also want to say this because there is the idea that there isn't anything that anyone can do. And the truth is that there is. Dr. Krim, who was one of the founders of AMFAR, said, people believe I'm just a little guy. Okay? I'm just a little person. I'm less than 5 feet 2. What can I do? But there is something we can do. When we all get together and we talk about these things, when we all get together and we do our 20 for 20, and we all get together and we raise money, then we allow people like Dr. Gabe here to do the hard science. The activists raise the hard money. We raise people's ideas. We keep it in the forefront. And Dr. Gabe does the hard science.
So where can people go to donate? Is there a website? I know you said Facebook. If they want to donate, where can they go?
I just had a great idea.
I think you should put
Because-
this on the website.
Well, we definitely will put it on our website.
Okay.
You know, again, I go back to, because really, I have been
the
around.
idea is that we were going to do stilettos.
No.
Research.
No. For the
researchers,
the
no?
shoot for 20, I think that we should come up with a day, even if it's the anniversary, and maybe we can get someone to get us stickers. Like they have I voted, and they could just say I gave 20,
I gave 20.
and then we could just pass out those stickers. So if someone gives you $20 and you put that sticker on, if you think about all the people that vote, that go and vote,
Correct.
and then they want their I voted sticker. That's the only reason I actually still go.
Of course.
I
that's
like
the
my
only
I
reason
voted
it
To
is.
go get a
I
sticker.
voted,
I think that would be
voted.
really cool that if, you gave $20 and you get a little sticker that says I gave 20.
I gave 20 for 20.
Yeah.
But what you get?
Because the whole, I do think that it's important, and I think that, and why I think that is important is to let people know, is I go back to what I was saying when you first joined us. I remember way back when I was raising money to bury people,
Yes.
and then I remember the groups that came up, ACT UP, and there were so many of them there for a while.
And they were the ones that focused attention on the fact that people were dying and that folks could not get experimental medications.
Right.
And their point was, well, we're dying anyway. Give them to us.
Right, and so it's all of that, and like going to party, I can't even count the people that I've lost.
I remember
But-
Gary Holt saying from the Gay Men's Chorus, the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus, we were singing at 4 funerals a day.
Yeah, well, and I was friends with Brad Truex.
Yes.
When Truex House started,
Yes.
and all of that. When, he was a very good friend of mine, and so all of the, I was like, that's how far I really go back on all of it. But I do think that it's important that that there's got to be a way that in donating, I believe there's got to be an element of educating. And I
Right.
think that people feel good when they give money,
And
and then they can talk about why they gave money,
Right.
that they want to make a difference. So that's why I do like
So
the
they can
sticker,
all-
or that we could do
so
whatever.
they can all be like you. We get the stickers for Dining Out for Life.
Yeah.
I
That's right,
don't.
we do.
So,
I
love
give them
them.
out all the time.
of course you do.
I do. I'm an
Yeah.
ambassador for Dine Out for Life. You have to come dine out with me, Gay. I think one of the things with AIDS is, and one of the reasons I like to hear Dr. Gabe talk is, you have to make the hard science come alive. And it is the hard science that will eventually bring us more treatment and eventually a cure. And that is why we want people to be excited about what's happening at the Research Institute at UCSD. And then when you have someone handsome like Dr. Gabriel to talk about it, then it makes it really come alive.
See, he was feeling comfortable until you just had to go and say that again.
I do think that all of that is important, and I don't think that we have talked about it, which is why, I was saying that, I'm interested now about the more double affection, and I really do think that a lot of people, and I hear it a lot, because people talk to me, once people that I know that became undetectable, it's almost as if they forgot
That they had a.
that they had it. Well, they still have it, don't they? It's just
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, so they still have it, but they forgot what it was like the first time that they were told that they had it, how alone
sick
they
they
felt,
were.
how sick they were, the medications, everything that they were on. So I do think that, I do think it's important that we talk about that more and that, people understand that, because I think that that is kind of where I see it now.
I know one of the things maybe you can talk about, Gabe, is because I've actually seen this in recent memory when someone I knew, Sarah, converted, and it's something we don't talk about anymore. We act as though it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so people are still definitely getting infected, and in fact, if there was a plateau in the frequency of infections in the States several years ago, sadly, among young gay men, there's been a bit of a resurgence, and a lot of it has to do with here in San Diego and in other cities, there's a concurrent methamphetamine epidemic, and so that fuels a lot of the young infections that are happening. So definitely, yes, we are living in a different era. Fortunately, thank God, thank the gods, we are living in an era where if someone is diagnosed, we are able to start antiretroviral treatment and get them in good shape. But it is not a cure, and for a lot of folks that do not know that they have it, until they've been diagnosed, and that may be several years out, they can still spread it around.
Correct.
And so, yes, we're living in a different era where we have antiretroviral treatment available, but that is not the end of the epidemic by any means, and there is still a lot of research and a lot of work that needs to go on to be able to eradicate it completely from the human population.
And that would take years.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, really, it would take years.
And we have a cultural climate in some communities where this discussion, the one that we're having among the four of us, would never be taking place.
Right.
Right.
And-
It's still a stigma, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
There is so much a stigma, and I'm at the center every day, that there are still people that are afraid to get tested. They're afraid to get tested because they don't want to know the results. And so
Well, I don't think that I do think it's that, but I also think that people, Justin, we'll call him out on 619 Bearcast. I hope that they go and listen to him talk about it. Like when he was saying that when he found out a year ago,
yeah, he's a year ago. I said it was May.
when he heard the words, he heard death. And I think that people still think that, which I think is sad, and it's not. And that I do think that we need more of you out talking about how it's not a death sentence, and that there are all of these things that
Are
But
available.
I also think that while there's some people who hear death, there are other people who say, oh, it's just a chronic disease, it's highly manageable. So maybe, Gabe, you would talk about what's the difference between death and highly manageable.
Yeah, you're right, Lady. Both are absolutely true. There, sadly, I do see a number of patients at the Owen Clinic and at the San Isidro Family Health Center where young patients that come from Mexico, and there the stigma is still quite prevalent.
Yeah.
It's a different culture. It's very macho-oriented and macho-driven, and so there's a stigma associated with even coming out of the closet,
And very
even less
Catholic.
so of being infected. And so there are those types of patients, and then there are also the more educated American patients, which they are well familiar with, even if they have not lived through the 80s and 90s and what it meant to know that it meant certain death. They are familiar with friends that are taking the medications every day and are essentially living normal lives except for taking a pill a day, and they do not realize the gravity of being infected with this still incurable virus, which, yes, it can be controlled with a pill a day, but the long-term effects are still unknown, and it will stay with you no matter how long. As soon as you stop the medication, it's only a matter of time before the virus rebounds.
Right.
So would you say that people who are living with AIDS have a shortened lifespan?
No, actually, people that are living with HIV, assuming that they are well controlled and assuming that they are in a system where they come to clinic every 3 months or every 6 months, have good follow-up, they actually tend to essentially at this point lead almost have a similar lifespan as non-infected individuals. But the big if is that they have to be taking antiretroviral therapy.
Right.
The big if is they have to be following strictly in an adherent, in a regimented fashion in a health clinic. And sadly, a lot of folks aren't actually in that position, and so they fall out of the system, and they can get into trouble.
Okay. All right.
What did I miss, Aaron?
I don't know what you missed, girl. You talked about it all.
I'm back on those high heels. Putting those emerging investigators at UCSD in high heels, and maybe taking them out to El Cajon Boulevard. What can I say?
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Money, money, money.
Money, money.
Money, 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 money.
20th anniversary. You can Google UCSD AIDS Research Institute. We are definitely going to put the links below where you're watching this. Facebook them. We'll get the links for Facebook and everything.
And let's face it, all the emerging investigators are as darling as Dr. Gabe here. So you want to give money.
This was her goal. I just want you to know that.
Actually, they are more volume than myself.
I don't know how.
She's more flirtatious than you are.
I don't even know that it's a flirtation.
Oh.
It's overt.
It's working almost mannish.
Just saying. You guys have been lovely.
You out.
That's okay.
Thank you for being with us. You guys are awesome.
And you can come back.
Yes, you can come back
You can come
anytime.
back anytime.
Oh, I feel you. Don't be jealous.
Elaine, Gabe, thank you very much. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Calm down, girl.
I cannot
She
help
wants to get in Dr. Gabe's pants.
No, he's not.
We forgot to do our 5 o'clock shots when they were on here. So we brought Dr. Gabe back, but he's doing surgery later. So he said he can't do one. So we're giving it to you.
Ian and Eddie, who already drank his.
Who already drank it.
He could not even wait.
He's an alcoholic. So happy 5 o'clock. We will see you next week.
Next week, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, boom.